Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live today on our program, State and Nation Building, and we are going to address a very important topics today. And this topic is about the United People's Alliance (UPA) Charter. Uh, yes, my name is Lual Dao. I am the Secretary General of the United People's Alliance (UPA). On behalf of the UPA, I will try to share with our members, the people of South Sudan, and the region and international community, our charter, what we stand for as United People's Alliance UPA. This charter, I will today tackles the first part of it, which is Article 1 of the UPA Charter. And please share this video. We are live on all the social media, on Facebook, on the YouTube, on Twitter, X, TikTok, wherever you are. Please share this video because we want the video to reach so many South Sudanese. So today we are going to focus on Article 1 of the UPA Charter. And under this article, we'll go through the preamble of the UPA Charter. And under this Article 1, we will focus mainly on the definition of the problem of South Sudan, because it is important to define the problem correctly in order to arrive to a correct solution. Because if you define the problem wrongly, definitely the solution you will arrive to will be wrong solutions. And as UPA, our leadership has said and came out with a charter that addressed the correct definition of the problem. And under this definition of the problem of South Sudan, I will tackle the issues of leadership failure, political power struggle, system of governance deficit and institutional weaknesses, pervasive corruption with impunity, instrumentalization of ethnicity and intercommunal violence, the cycle of fragile and dishonor peace agreements. These are the issues that I will tackle today. Then next time I will come back and address the Article 2 of the UPA, which is the strategic direction and framework. Now let us dive in. The political charter of the United People's Alliance UPA. We, the representatives of the political and armed movements, the Real Sudan People's Liberation Movement, Real SPLM, the South Sudan United Front, and the Army, SSUFA, the South Sudan People's Movement and Army, SSPMA, the National Salvation Front Revolutionary Command Council, NAS-RCC, the National People's Movement, NPM, the Upper Nile People's Liberation Front, UNPLF, and the South Sudan Salvation Movement, SSSM, representing the peoples of South Sudan, united in our common purpose to rescue our country, and by our profound commitment to secure a better future for our nation. Basically, we are saying, as a various political and armed movements, we came together with one clear message, which is to rescue our country from imminent collapse and total disintegration. That is our purpose. We are conscious of immense suffering. Our people are suffering, untold hardship, and systematic oppressions inflicted upon our people by the corrupt regime in Juba. We are also mindful of the squandered promise of our hard-won independence and betrayal of sacrifice or martyrs. We have lost a lot of martyrs in quest for freedom, and all this independence came as a result of these heroes that died. And with all that, we believe they achieved independence for us, but the sacrifice of our martyrs, has been squandered. We are determined to end the cycle of violence, ethnic division, and strife and governance failure that characterize these states. We are committed to the principle of democracy, justice, equality, federalism. Again, let me emphasize this. We are very committed as the UPA with the following principles: the principle of democracy, justice, equality, federal system of governance, and the rule of law as the only viable foundation for a peaceful, just, and prosperous South Sudan. These are the things that will make our country prosperous. This issue, which is our commitment to the principle of democracy, justice, equality, federalism, and the rule of law as the only viable foundation for a peaceful, just, and prosperous South Sudan, asserting the inalienable right and patriotic duty of the people of South Sudan to oppose, resist, and overthrow any government that suspends or abrogates the Constitution, destroys the aim for which it was established, and to institute a new government that shall secure their peace, safety, liberty, and prosperity. Hereby, solemnly adopt this charter as our supreme guiding document in the struggle for fundamental change and establishment of a new South Sudan. Basically, we have adopted this charter. Will guide us to arrive to a new South Sudan, a South Sudan that will be based and rule on the principle of democracy, justice, equality, federalism, and the rule of law as the only viable foundation for peaceful, just, and prosperous South Sudan. Under Article 1, we are going to talk about definition of the problem of South Sudan. The protracted conflict in the Republic of South Sudan is fundamentally a political crisis driven by violence. Basically, all this fight that is happening in our country, all these crises that are happening in our country are political crises. It is true that ethnics, our communities our tribes has been used by political and military elites, both, to maintain their power, and also they have been used to grab the power. But this is not really the issue. The main issue, it is a political crisis, it is a power struggle, and the tribe has been used to either maintain the political power or to grab the political power. Now, let me focus more on uh, the causes of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. Mainly, there are a lot that are resulting to root cause of conflict in South Sudan. But as I said at the very beginning, it is a political crisis. That political crisis, we fail to manage it. As a result, it results into number one, leadership failure. Leadership failure due to loss of vision and lack of direction to steer the country towards unity of purpose, stability, peace, and progress. Foster inclusive governance and build a cohesive national identity has been a decisive factor in the state descent into civil war. Because we failed that, to have a unity of purpose, stability, peace, that's why our country has been engaged in this civil war. The foundational failure of South Sudan leadership stems from the inability to transition from a liberation movement to a collaborative governing partnership. The persistent personal rivalry and mutual distrust between key political and military elites constitutes the central fault line in politics. These dynamics foster a winner-takes-all system, culminating in the outbreak of the 2013 civil war. The leadership prioritized personal power over nation building. The leadership in Juba today prioritize personal power over nation building. And of course, any leadership that prioritize personal power to maintain power, to be in power, and they don't care about the issue of state and nation building, this is definitely lead to the perpetual cycle of conflict. Number four, sustainable peace requires a fundamental transformation beyond superficial agreements. If we are going to have any peace agreement, a true peace agreement, we need to go beyond these superficial peace agreements. These agreements that are based only on power sharing arrangement. We have to go beyond that. In fact, stability, rule of law, democracy lies behind that system of agreement that is based on power sharing only. And those will lead it required to entail the demilitarization of politics, the establishment of genuine accountability, and the development of an inclusive institution by a new generation of leaders. Without this systematic change, the country will remain trapped in a cycle of violence. If we do not demilitarize our politics, basically to separate the military from politics, so that politics is purely a competition, democracy, in which political parties compete over political power in the country without military associated with it. Brothers and sisters, our country will continue to suffer and to be trapped on cycle of violence. Number two, which is on section 2, we talk about power, political power struggle. Under political power struggles, we have addressed few things, mainly 4 points. Number one, political power struggle, which tends to be violent and tribal, leading to unnecessary deaths, hatred, and division among the communities. When there is a political power struggle in South Sudan, always it is violent, at the same time, it is tribal. It is violent and tribal, and that lead to unnecessary death. Any South Sudanese that die after 2011, it is unnecessary death because the people of South Sudan have paid a lot for us to have this independent country. That should be enough. But anybody died after that, after July 9, 2011, we call this unnecessary death. Number two, this conflict originated within the Sudan People's Liberation Movement Army, SPLM, SPLA. After the death of its leader, Dr. John Garang Dimabur, in 2005, long-standing rivalry resurfaced, primarily among the political and military leaders. It is this rivalry and competition within the SPLM among the political and military leaders that is what is destroying our country. Number three, in July 2013, the president suppressed the call for democratic reforms within the SPLM and consolidated power by dismissing his entire cabinet, exposing the zero-sum nature of political contests. This tension erupted in December 2013. You guys are aware of this, when a political debate is spurred into a brutal civil war. Just a mere political debate, a democratization within the party was handled with a serious force that resulted into a civil war in 2013. The president accused his critics in the leadership of the SPLM, including his deputy, of attempting a coup, and that triggering a conflict that fractured the national army along ethnic lines and led to widespread atrocities. And this issue of coup was addressed by our elder, Dr. Peter Rodok Nyaba, when he wrote a famous article that it was not a coup President Kiir shot himself in the foot. That was a clear indication. That article has described exactly what happened in the country. 4. The attempt to resolve the 2013 political crisis through violence rather than dialogue established a dangerous precedent. It confirmed that from the regime's perspective, political power derives from military strengths rather than from constitutional process or popular mandates. So the crisis that happened in 2013 was unfortunately supposed to be solved by a dialogue, but instead it was violent. And the regime in Juba believed that they can use violence to move the country and control the power. It did not work. It has failed miserably. Section 3, systematic governance deficit and institutional weakness. State institutions are characterized by profound weakness, eroded integrity, and pervasive incapacity to deliver services or security to the people. A governance culture dominated by patronage concentrates resources within a narrow clique, undermining public trust and creating incentives for violence as a mechanism of political and economic gains. Fragmented and captured institutions hinder the rule of law, accountability, and the effective development and implementation of policy, eroding the social contract between the states and citizens. You know, this issue of institutional weakness is a major problem that require all of us as political and military elites in our country to work towards establishing strong institutions. Most of you who are watching tonight or this morning have clearly read a book called Why Nation Fails. And the argument in that book concluded that nations normally fail when there's no strong institutions. And that's exactly what is happening in our country. We do not have strong institutions. And that is what affecting our country. Section 4, pervasive corruption with impunity. The control of the state by the president and his cartels is aimed at controlling and looting public revenues and other national resources. Rampant corruption, diversion of public funds, epic budgeting, off budget expenditure, and unnecessary loan to enrich a small cartels and entrench their grip on power. At the same time, the population bears the cost of impoverishment, state fragility, and failure. The economic dimension creates powerful incentives for continued conflict as control over the looting of resources becomes the most lucrative prize for those seeking to maintain or secure political power. The critical lack of proper legal framework and its implementation for the land grabbing, where influential individuals illegally seize large portions of land. These are things that affecting in terms of corruption with impunity. Section 5, issue of ethnicity and intercommunal violence. In the absence of shared national identity, political leaders often mobilize support on ethnic basis to consolidate or grab power and frame their political ambitions contests as existential threat to their tribe, ethnic or regional groups. Basically, the political leaders, whether they want to maintain the power in Juba or those in opposition, would like to grab the power from those in Juba. Sometimes would like they introduce tribal politics, telling the tribe that our tribe is facing a serious threat. This is not true. There is no tribe in South Sudan under threat from any other tribe. Do not believe that, brothers and sisters. Do not believe that, ladies and gentlemen. All tribes of South Sudan are just fine. There's no problem from any tribe. The problem, however, it is political and military elites who want to use the tribe to grab the power, or they want to use the tribe to maintain and protect the power. That is the problem. Okay. These manipulation heighten tension over land and other resources, transforming historical grievances or traditional competition into flashpoints within national crisis. Militias frequently align with ethnic and tribal communities, turn into organized violence, and become tools for projecting power and violent conflicts over land and associated resources, which turn trigger cycles of retaliation and mass atrocities. Issue of land are a major issues. There is issue of land in Greater Equatoria, particularly in Juba. It's a serious issue of land grabbing. There is issue of land grabbing in Wow. There's a lot of issue of land issues in Malakal and across major towns in South Sudan. This is a major issue that is causing serious problem among our people. Section 6. The cycles of fragiles and dishonored peace agreement. You know, Molana Abul Alier wrote a famous book called Many Disagreement, Many Agreement Dishonored. And in that book, that Molana Abu wrote it in context of Sudan. But unfortunately, that book is true in context of South Sudan. Many, in this short life, our country, many disagreement, many agreement dishonors. Number one, the region and the international community have mediated multiple peace process, most notably the 2018 RRCs and the 2018 RRCs, yet implementation has consistently fallen short of achieving sustainable peace. Two, signatories often treat peace agreement as a tactical pass for consolidation of partisan power, rearmament, and realignment rather than as a genuine commitment to peace through political settlement, resulting in reoccurrent ceasefire violations and renewed conflict. You know, when we sign peace agreements, the parties to the peace agreement, they think they want to play politics. It is a tactical way to consolidate the power, to mobilize more forces. That is a wrong way of approaching agreement. Agreement should be based on true understanding and believing that whatever we sign, we meant to use it as a tool that will usher our country into an era of peace, justice, and rebuild our institution. That should be the goal, not as a way to really consolidate the power. The negotiating parties at the Tumaini Peace Initiative seek to address these structural issues by fostering inclusive dialogue, promoting locally led solutions, and advocating for sustainable governance reform. By tackling the root cause of conflict, these discussions will lay the foundation for lasting peace and stability in South Sudan. So, when we were negotiating with the government of South Sudan in Kenya under Tumaini Initiative, Peace Initiative, we really focus on addressing the root causes of conflict because we felt it is not about positions. The country is in a serious cycle of conflict because no agreement that addresses the root cause of conflict. And we want to make sure that whatever root cause of conflict it has, they have to be addressed. We need to focus on making sure that whatever peace agreement that we reach should be based on uh, on the reconciliation, to reconcile the leaders, reconcile political and military leaders, reconcile our communities, and move our country forwards. That is the part one that I share with you. Let me stop there. Next time I will come and tackle Article 2, which is more interesting. We'll be talking about the strategic direction and framework in which we will address many things among them the vision of UPA and so forth. Now, let me conclude, ladies and gentlemen, to invite all the political and military leaders, all the South Sudanese, to join the UPA. And specifically, one of way to join the UPA and the easy way is to join all the organizations that I have mentioned, whether real SPLM, SSUF, SSPM, or SSSM, all the organizations that I mentioned at the very beginning. You join them, you become part of that, you are part of the UPA. Or if there is any organization out there that are like-minded, that are committed to fight for real change in our country and making sure that we usher our country to an era of peace, justice, and equality, those organizations, I take this opportunity on behalf of UPA to invite you to join us. You are welcome to send us your application to join UPA. We believe that all the opposition group need to come together, united. Let us work together to make sure that we we make sure that either the regime in Juba accept a real peace agreement that is based on justice, equality, and freedom for all, that will usher our country towards an era of peace and justice, or the regime will be removed and a new regime will take over, a new system will take over to change the course and bring the reconciliation among the people of South Sudan. This we are calling for all the uh, military organization, political organization that are out there to join us and join the UPA. This is an official invitation from the UPA, and we will write a statement on that. Please share this video so that everyone could get it on the YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, on the X, all these places. Please share the video. Thank you very much for listening. This is part one. Next time, I will take Article 2, which is strategic direction and framework, in which we will address the issue of the vision of the UPA, mission of the UPA, and also we'll talk about objective of the UPA and foreign policy of the UPA, and also we will tackle climate and global common leaderships and regional priorities. And we will end with Section 7, which is core values and principle of the UPA. Thank you very much for listening. Please share the video. Thank you very much.